The stars shone brightly over the planet Zerathia, a world unlike any human had ever seen. Its skies shimmered with green and purple streaks, and the cities were built of smooth crystal that reflected the light in every direction. Humans rarely traveled this far, but Ethan, a young explorer from Earth, had been sent on a diplomatic mission. His job was simple in theory: meet the rulers of Zerathia, observe their culture, and establish a friendly connection between their worlds. In practice, he knew it would be far more complicated. Ethan's ship landed gently on a wide platform in the capital city. The aliens who came to greet him were taller than humans, with long limbs and smooth, pale skin that seemed almost luminous under Zerathia's twin suns. Their eyes were large and reflective, filled with a quiet intelligence that made Ethan feel small and awkward. He followed the alien guides through long halls and open gardens, each more beautiful than the last. Flowers glowed faintly, humming softly, and streams of clear water ran along paths paved with shimmering stones. Ethan was careful to step lightly, not wanting to disturb anything. Every corner he turned seemed more magical than the last. Finally, he arrived at the palace, a massive structure that towered above the city. Its walls were high and white, and intricate patterns twisted across every surface. As Ethan stepped inside, he felt a mix of awe and fear. He had never been in a place so grand. A group of alien attendants led him into a large hall. At the far end sat Queen Solara, the ruler of Zerathia. She wore flowing robes that seemed to float around her, and her posture was perfect, regal and commanding. Her eyes were sharp, and the moment they fell on Ethan, he felt as if she could see through him. "You are human," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "I have heard of your kind. Why should I trust you?" Ethan swallowed, trying to steady his voice. "Your Majesty, I come in peace. I want to understand your people and learn from you. I mean no harm." The Queen's gaze didn't waver. "Many humans have come before claiming peace, but their actions have often caused destruction. You will need to prove your worth, or you will leave this place empty-handed." Ethan nodded, understanding the challenge. "I will do my best, Your Majesty." As he bowed, a soft voice interrupted. "Mother, do not be so harsh." Ethan looked up to see a young woman approaching. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her hair shimmered like silver threads under the light. Her skin was pale and flawless, and her eyes were bright and curious. Every movement she made was graceful, as if she floated rather than walked. Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. "Who is this?" he asked quietly to one of the attendants. "That is Princess Leora, Your Majesty's daughter," the attendant replied. "She is highly intelligent and her kindness is known across the planet, but she has also been shielded from outsiders." Ethan's heart beat faster. He had read about alien royalty, but meeting one face to face was different. Leora smiled at him gently. "Hello, human. I hope you're not frightened. My mother can be serious sometimes." Ethan managed a small smile. "I am honored to meet you, Princess." Leora's eyes twinkled. "You are polite. That is good. Many humans are not so careful with words." Ethan laughed softly. It felt natural to speak with her, even though she was an alien. "I try my best. I want to understand your world and its people." Leora nodded approvingly. "Then perhaps we can walk together. There is much to see in the gardens. You might find it easier to understand this world if you see it with your own eyes." They stepped out into the palace gardens. Ethan could not help but notice the elegance of Leora's movements. Every flower and stream seemed to come alive around her, and Ethan found himself distracted by her beauty and presence. He had never seen anyone like her, human or otherwise. Suddenly, a voice called from behind them. "Ethan." He turned to see Queen Solara standing at the garden gate, arms crossed. Her expression was unreadable. "Your Majesty," Ethan said, bowing slightly. "I watch you closely," she said, stepping forward. "Why do you spend so much time with my daughter? Many humans would seek to use her, to gain power or knowledge. I must know your intentions." Ethan hesitated. The question caught him off guard. He could have given a careful diplomatic answer, but honesty felt right. "Your Majesty, she is too beautiful for words," he said simply, looking at Leora. "Not just her appearance, but her mind, her kindness, and her grace. I admire her truly." There was a long silence. Queen Solara's eyes narrowed slightly, trying to understand him. She had never heard such an answer from a human before. Most would have spoken of strategy, of alliances, or of political gain. But Ethan's words were different, pure, honest. Princess Leora looked at him, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "You are not like the others," she whispered. Queen Solara finally spoke, her voice softer but still firm. "We shall see if your actions match your words, human. You are welcome here, but remember this. Trust must be earned, not given. My daughter's safety is my command. You will prove your worth before anything else." Ethan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "I will not disappoint you, Your Majesty." The Queen turned and walked away, leaving Ethan and Leora alone in the gardens. The air was filled with the soft hum of alien flowers and the distant sound of water flowing over crystal stones. Ethan felt both nervous and exhilarated. He had entered a world full of mystery, beauty, and challenges he could not yet imagine. And at the center of it all was Princess Leora, whose presence stirred something in him he could not yet name. As the sun of Zerathia began to set, painting the sky in brilliant colors, Ethan realized that this mission was no longer just about diplomacy. It was about trust, courage, and perhaps something even more profound, something that might change not only his life but the future of two worlds. And so the human explorer's journey had truly begun. The next morning, Ethan woke to the soft glow of Zerathia's twin suns. He could hear the gentle hum of the palace, gardens outside his window. Today would be his first real test. Queen Solara had made it clear, words alone could not prove his intentions. He would have to show courage, intelligence, and respect for the alien people. He dressed in the simple uniform the palace had provided and followed an attendant into a large hall. The hall was filled with alien devices, glowing softly, with patterns that shifted and moved as though alive. Queen Solara waited at the far end, her arms crossed, her gaze piercing. "Ethan," she said, her voice calm but firm. "To earn trust here, you must complete 3 challenges. Each will test a different part of your character. Fail, and your mission ends here." Ethan swallowed, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will do my best." The first challenge was intelligence and problem-solving. Ethan was presented with a complex device that had no obvious buttons or levers. Patterns glowed and shifted, and the room seemed to react to his movements. The alien attendant explained, "You must unlock the mechanism. It requires logic and creativity, not strength." Ethan studied the device carefully. He noticed subtle differences in the glow of the patterns and realized that touching one symbol changed others in a predictable way. Using a combination of observation and trial, he slowly guided the glowing symbols into alignment. When the final symbol lit up, the device clicked open, revealing a small crystal that shone brightly. Queen Solara's expression softened slightly. "You have patience and intelligence, human. That is a good start." The second challenge tested courage. Ethan was led to a cliffside overlooking a vast alien jungle. Strange, colorful creatures moved among the trees below, some large, some small, but all unpredictable. His task was to retrieve a rare herb that grew only on a narrow ledge across the chasm. Ethan examined the path carefully. The wind howled, and the ledge was slippery, but he remembered Leora's advice from the gardens. Observe, think, act calmly. Step by step he crossed the chasm, steadying himself with a long staff. At one point a sudden gust nearly threw him off balance, but he gripped the rock tightly and kept moving. Finally he reached the herb, plucked it carefully, and returned, safely. Queen Solara nodded in approval. "Courage is not reckless bravery. You have shown control and determination. That is rare." The final challenge was compassion and empathy. Ethan was taken to a crowded alien market. Among the merchants, and citizens, he noticed a small child trapped in a pile of fallen goods. The child was frightened and crying, unable to free itself. Many aliens had already passed by, focused on their own business. Ethan rushed forward, carefully lifting the debris to free the child. He spoke softly, in a gentle tone. "It's okay. You're safe now." The child's tears turned to a shy smile, and it clung to Ethan's hand briefly before running back to its parents. Princess Leora, who had followed discreetly, watched Ethan's actions closely. She smiled, impressed by his instinct to help without hesitation. Queen Solara, observing from a distance, crossed her arms but allowed a hint of pride to show in her expression. After the challenges, Ethan was led back to the palace hall, where Queen Solara awaited. "You have passed all 3 tests," she said, her voice calm but measured. "Intelligence, courage, and compassion. You are different from the humans I expected. Perhaps I misjudged your kind." Ethan bowed respectfully. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I only wish to learn and to help, not to harm." The Queen studied him for a moment longer. "Your actions speak more loudly than your words." The morning air on Zerathia was crisp and clear, but an uneasy tension filled the city. Strange energy readings had been detected on the planet's borders, and scouts reported unusual ships approaching. The aliens of Zerathia had never faced such a threat before, and panic whispered through the streets. Ethan, standing in the palace courtyard with Princess Leora, noticed the worry in her eyes. "What is happening?" he asked. Leora glanced toward the horizon, where dark shapes moved against the twin suns. "A hostile species," she said softly. "They seek to conquer planets, to take what does not belong to them. My people have prepared defenses, but they underestimate humans, and perhaps that is why you are here." Before Ethan could respond, Queen Solara appeared, her robes flowing behind her. "Ethan," she said, her voice firm, "this is not a challenge of intelligence or courage alone. The survival of my people is at stake. You will observe and assist if you can. Your knowledge of human strategy may be useful." Ethan nodded, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "I will do what I can, Your Majesty." The alien council quickly assembled. Ethan watched as the aliens debated tactics, their ideas, brilliant but often rigid, limited by tradition. He noticed patterns and weaknesses the council did not see. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. "Excuse me," Ethan said respectfully. "I may have a suggestion. If we divide our defenses and set decoys in the northern plains, we can lure their ships into a trap. They will overextend themselves, and then we can focus our main force on the critical areas near the city," the council murmured. Some eyes turned to the Queen, waiting for her reaction. She studied Ethan, her expression unreadable. Finally, she nodded slowly. "Proceed, human. But remember, the lives of my people are in your hands." Ethan worked with the alien engineers and strategists, combining human ingenuity with alien technology. He adjusted energy shields, coordinated communication lines, and mapped out defensive positions. Even the smallest detail mattered, and every choice carried weight. As the enemy ships approached, the skies of Zerathia darkened with their vast forms. The ships were fast and heavily armed, their weapons unlike anything Ethan had seen. But he stayed calm, relying on the strategies he had studied and adapted from human history. The attack began with a barrage of energy blasts. Alien defenders responded, but Ethan noticed the enemy's patterns, predictable and overconfident. He signaled the decoys in the northern plains to move, drawing part of the fleet away. It worked. The enemy overextended, leaving key points vulnerable. Princess Leora stood beside him, her eyes wide with admiration. "You are incredible," she whispered. "You see what no one else can." Ethan focused, not allowing the compliment to distract him. "We must act quickly," he said. "Now is the time to concentrate our forces on the main fleet." Following Ethan's guidance, the aliens of Zerathia executed the plan flawlessly. Ships blocked escape routes, energy shields were synchronized, and weapon systems struck with precision. The enemy, caught off guard by the unexpected human tactics, struggled to regroup. During the battle, Ethan noticed a smaller enemy squad attempting to infiltrate the palace. Without hesitation, he grabbed a control tablet and directed a defensive team to intercept them. The squad was stopped before reaching the royal family, the threat neutralized quietly and efficiently. Queen Solara watched the entire battle from a high tower. Her expression softened and she whispered to herself, "Perhaps I underestimated humans." As the last enemy ships retreated, the skies cleared, and the people of Zarathia erupted in relief. Citizens cheered and the alien soldiers celebrated their victory. Ethan, exhausted but satisfied, allowed himself a small smile. He had helped protect a world that had once seemed so alien, and in doing so he had earned respect in ways words never could. Princess Leora ran toward him, her eyes shining. "Ethan, that was amazing. You saved so many lives, including mine." She laughed softly, but there was seriousness behind it. "I have never seen anyone act so bravely and wisely." "You are extraordinary." Ethan felt warmth fill his chest. "I only did what I could. Your people are strong and intelligent. I just helped them see what was already here." Leora smiled and took his hand briefly, a gesture of trust and gratitude. "Your actions speak louder than words. I can see why my mother watches you so
carefully. But now, she must see what I see." Queen Solara approached quietly, her gaze still assessing, but the anger from before was gone.
"Human," she said, her tone calmer. "You have done what few could. You have protected my people and shown courage and intelligence beyond your species. Yet remember, trust is earned every day. Today was one step. Tomorrow will be another." Ethan bowed. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will continue to act with respect and honesty." The Queen studied him for a moment longer, then nodded. "You are not like the humans I expected. Perhaps there is hope in your kind after all." As the evening fell and the twin moons rose, over Zarathia, Ethan and Leora walked through the palace gardens. The air was filled with the soft glow of luminescent plants, and the distant sound of flowing water created a peaceful rhythm. "You were amazing today," Leora said quietly. "You not only saw what others could not, but you acted without hesitation. Most humans would panic or flee, but you were calm and precise." Ethan shook his head, smiling. "I only followed my instincts, and I had guidance from you and your people. I could not have done it alone." Leora looked at him, her expression soft. "You are different. Humans are often underestimated, even by their own. But you have shown strength, courage, and wisdom. I am beginning to understand why you are here, Ethan. Why you matter." Ethan felt his heart lift. "I want to help, Princess. Not for glory, but because I care about this world and the people in it. Especially you." Leora blushed lightly, but her eyes sparkled with warmth. "Perhaps that is why my mother watched you so carefully. Not all humans are like you. Some are dangerous. But you are remarkable." As they walked beneath the glowing plants and the rising moons, Ethan realized that his journey on Zarathia was no longer just a mission. It had become something far more meaningful, an opportunity to earn trust, forge bonds, and perhaps change the way an entire world saw humans. And for the first time, he felt that he was exactly where he was meant to be. The day after the battle, Zarathia was quiet. The alien city seemed to breathe again, relieved that the danger had passed. Ethan walked through the palace gardens with Princess Leora, their steps soft on the glowing stones. The air smelled sweet, filled with the scent of alien flowers, and the twin suns painted everything in gentle shades of green and purple. "You were incredible yesterday," Leora said, breaking the comfortable silence. "I have never seen anyone act so wisely under pressure. Not even my people could have handled it as you did." Ethan smiled, but his mind was elsewhere. "I only did what seemed right. I've always believed that careful thinking and courage can solve problems. Sometimes, more than strength alone." Leora looked at him thoughtfully. "Humans are strange creatures. You can be small and fragile, yet capable of things we cannot even imagine. It is admirable. Ethan noticed her eyes linger on him for a moment, and he felt a warmth he had not expected. He had spent much of his life exploring, studying alien worlds, but none had felt as personal or alive as this one, especially with Leora beside him. Their walk led them to a quiet pond, where water reflected the colors of the sky, like liquid crystal. Leora sat on a smooth stone at the edge, and Ethan joined her. For a while, they simply watched the water ripple under the soft breeze. "I want to understand your world," Ethan said finally, breaking the silence. "Not just its people or cities, but its values, its heart. How you think, how you feel, everything." Leora smiled softly. "That is rare for a human. Most are focused on conquest, trade, or knowledge alone. You care about understanding. That is why my mother watches you so closely. She is wary of humans, as all should be. But she also senses that you are different." Ethan hesitated, then asked, "Your mother, does she not trust me?" Leora's expression grew serious. "She trusts no outsider easily. You have proven your worth in battle and intelligence, but she worries for me, and she is cautious by nature. You must show her that your intentions are honest." Ethan nodded. "I will. I want her trust not just for myself, but for the sake of your people and you." For the next few hours, they explored hidden paths in the palace gardens, each path revealing secrets of Zerathia. Leora showed Ethan glowing plants that responded to touch, small creatures that sang in harmony when disturbed, and streams that changed color according to the mood of the surroundings. Ethan marveled at everything, but most of all, he admired Leora's knowledge and patience. She moved with ease, explaining the details of her world with clarity and care, and Ethan realized that her beauty was only part of her allure. Her mind and heart made her radiant. As they rested near a small waterfall, Ethan felt a shift in the air. Queen Solara appeared, her robes flowing, her expression calm but firm. "Ethan," she said, her voice echoing softly across the water. "You have done well in public, but now I wish to test your character personally. A ruler must know if someone can be trusted, not only in grand deeds, but in moments of honesty." Ethan stood and bowed. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will answer honestly." The Queen stepped closer, her gaze fixed on him. "Tell me, human, why?" Days of peace on Zerathia were short-lived. Scouts reported that the hostile alien species had returned, larger and more organized than before. Their ships filled the skies, and their weapons glowed ominously against the twin suns. Panic spread through the cities, but this time, the aliens of Zerathia would not face the threat alone. Ethan stood beside Queen Solara and Princess Leora in the palace command hall. The room hummed with alien technology, energy maps flickering across the walls, showing the enemy's positions. The Queen's expression was firm, but Ethan noticed a subtle trust in her eyes, a recognition of his role in the planet's defense. "This attack is larger than before," Queen Solara said. "We cannot rely solely on traditional tactics. Human strategies may be useful." Ethan nodded. "We need to combine our forces carefully. If we lure the enemy into zones we control, we can reduce their advantage. We can also use smaller teams to protect critical areas and civilians." "Princess," Leora stepped forward, her eyes determined. "I will help coordinate the defenders. Ethan, can you guide us?" Ethan glanced at her, impressed by her courage. "Yes, Princess, together we can defend your people." The Alien Council divided the city's forces according to Ethan's plan. Energy shields were strengthened in key areas, decoy ships were deployed in the northern plains, and communication lines were coordinated between ground and air units. Every move required precision, and Ethan guided them patiently, explaining human tactics while respecting alien methods. As the enemy ships descended, the skies of Zerathia turned dark. The aliens fired energy blasts, and the sound of explosions echoed across the city. Ethan moved through the command hall, adjusting defenses, redirecting forces, and anticipating the enemy's moves. A smaller squad of enemy ships veered toward the palace itself. Ethan noticed their pattern immediately. They aimed to strike fear by targeting the royal family. Without hesitation, he called a rapid response team, directing them to intercept the intruders. The alien soldiers moved quickly, guided by Ethan's instructions, and the squad was neutralized before reaching the palace. Queen Solara observed quietly from a balcony, her eyes following every move. For the first time, she felt that humans could be more than allies. They could be heroes. On the battlefield, Ethan combined human ingenuity with alien technology. Energy shields were timed to create corridors, forcing enemy ships into traps. Ground units moved with surprising coordination, guided by his instructions. Even alien soldiers who had doubted human strategies began to trust his judgment as each enemy maneuver failed. Princess Leora watched from a safe position, her heart racing as she saw Ethan lead with calm authority. "He is extraordinary," she whispered to a nearby commander. "Not just brave, but smart. He sees things no one else can." Hours passed and the enemy began to falter. Their formations broke, their ships overextended, and Ethan seized the opportunity. He coordinated a focused strike on the remaining leaders of the invading force. The alien soldiers followed his lead, and the combined human-alien attack pushed the enemy into retreat. Finally, the skies cleared. The people of Zarathia erupted in relief, cheering for their victory. Ethan, exhausted but resolute, allowed himself a small smile. The plan had worked. Lives had been saved. The planet was secure once more. Princess Leora ran to him, her eyes shining. "Ethan, you did it. You saved everyone. You even saved me." Ethan laughed softly, shaking his head. "We did it together. Your people are strong, and I only guided them. Courage comes from within." Queen Solara appeared at that moment, her robes flowing, her expression solemn yet proud. "Human," she said, her voice carrying over the cheering crowd. "You have proven your worth not only in intelligence and courage but in leadership and loyalty. You have risked yourself for my people, and you have succeeded where many would fail." Ethan bowed deeply. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I only wished to help. Your people's safety was my responsibility, and I did not hesitate." The Queen studied him for a moment, her eyes softening. "You are unlike the humans I imagined. You have shown bravery, wisdom, and a heart that values life beyond your own. I see now why my daughter trusts you." Leora stepped closer, her hand brushing against Ethan's. "Mother, he is as he says. His courage is true and his heart is honest. We have all witnessed it." Queen Solara nodded slowly, a faint smile on her lips. "Perhaps I have been too cautious. Humans may indeed possess qualities I did not expect. Today you have earned more than respect. You have earned my acknowledgement." Ethan felt a surge of pride and relief. This acknowledgement, coming from a queen he had once feared, was a turning point. He had proven himself not only to her but to the people of Zarathia, and more importantly, he had shown that humans could be trusted allies, capable of greatness beyond expectations. As the sun set behind the palace, casting the twin moons' reflection over the glowing gardens, Ethan and Leora walked together. "You were incredible today," she said softly. "Not just in battle, but in how you cared for everyone. You truly are remarkable." Ethan smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. "I only did what anyone should do. Protect those who cannot protect themselves. But your words mean more than you know, Princess." Leora looked at him, her eyes reflecting the twin moons. "Perhaps that is why my mother watched you so carefully. Not all humans are like you. Some are reckless, some selfish, but you are extraordinary in every way that matters." Ethan's heart lifted. "Then I will continue to live up to that. Not for glory, but for what is right. For you, for your people, and for this world." As they walked through the palace gardens, the air filled with the soft hum of luminescent flowers. Ethan knew that this battle was only one of many challenges he would face on Zarathia. But he also knew that he was no longer just an outsider. He was a trusted ally, someone who had proven that humans could rise to greatness even among the stars. And as the twin moons shone above, Ethan felt a quiet certainty. No matter what trials came next, he was ready. For courage, wisdom, and honor were not limited to one species. They were the mark of all who dared to act with heart. The night fell peacefully over Zarathia, but Ethan knew that his journey and his bond with Princess Leora had only just begun. The morning after the battle, Zarathia was alive with energy. Citizens moved through the streets, repairing damage, sharing stories of bravery, and celebrating the victory. The air was filled with a mixture of relief, pride, and newfound hope. Humans had long been distant figures in legends, but now, one human, Ethan, stood among them as a true hero. Ethan walked through the palace gardens with Princess Leora. The flowers glowed softly under the twin suns, their colors reflecting the joy of the people below. Leora's eyes sparkled with admiration as she looked at him. "You have done more than anyone could have imagined, Ethan. You saved my people, my home, and you never asked for anything in return." Ethan shook his head with a gentle smile. "I only did what I felt was right. Your people welcomed me, trusted me. I could not turn away, and I could not leave you in danger." Leora looked down, her hands clasped. "Your bravery and honesty, it changes how I see humans. Perhaps the legends do not do justice to what you are capable of." Before Ethan could reply, the palace doors opened, and Queen Solara appeared. Her presence commanded attention. The cheering outside fell to a quiet murmur as the citizens recognized their queen. She walked slowly toward them, her eyes fixed on Ethan. "Human," she said, her voice firm but measured. "You have proven yourself in ways that few could. You have shown courage, intelligence, and compassion. You have risked yourself for my people, guided our forces with wisdom, and protected my daughter when danger came closest. Your actions speak louder than any words could." Ethan bowed deeply, humbled by her praise. "Your Majesty, I am honored. I only wish to serve and protect." The Queen studied him for a long moment, her gaze assessing, but her stern expression softened. "I once doubted your kind. I believed humans to be reckless, short-sighted, and incapable of understanding worlds beyond their own. But you have shown that humans can rise to challenges no one expected. You have earned my respect, my acknowledgement, and the trust of my people." Ethan felt a warmth he had never known. The Queen's words were more than recognition. They were a bridge between two species, proof that humans could stand as equals among the stars. Princess Leora stepped closer to Ethan, her hand brushing his lightly. "Mother, I trust him completely. He has shown courage, wisdom, and honor. More than that, he has a kind heart. I believe he will continue to do right by my people and me." Queen Solara looked at her daughter, then back at Ethan. A faint smile touched her lips. "Perhaps it is time to acknowledge what is already evident. Human, you may continue to walk beside my daughter. You have earned the right to be near her and to build trust, respect, and understanding between our people." Ethan felt his heart lift. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will continue to act with honesty and respect, every day." The Queen's expression grew thoughtful. "Trust and respect are earned constantly, not once. Remember this. But know that today you have proven yourself fully, not only to me but to all of Zarathia." The palace halls filled with citizens, some whispering, some bowing in recognition of Ethan's deeds. He realized that his presence on Zarathia was no longer temporary or symbolic. He had become part of their history, a human whose actions had